Hey everybody, I'm back for a little shop update. It is May 27th, 2017. Last time we were shooting video it was February. So I'm going to give a little update about the instruments, our shop schedule, what's going on with us in Miyamoe, talk about some equipment and wood, and just give you a little update so you know what's happening. The first instruments are going to be delivered in July, the first banjo ukes, and they're well on their way. Got one that's in finish right now, a beautiful little walnut concert scale instrument, and the next two are in there. I'm hoping to maybe also do a stock instrument some months, so keep your eyes on the Beansprout website to see if you can see those coming. Yeah, we've been really busy, but it's been great to get this shop up and running and get things going. In this end of the shop, things haven't changed too much. Except for some lights burned out up there, so I think I'm about to go to Home Depot and get some new banks of LED lights, because if I'm gonna have to replace them, I might as well get some better lights. Also, in this room, we also set up another table for Nicole over here under this window, where before it was just kind of junky storage. And that's just a door sitting on some sawhorses. But we're going to use that for, I think, some screen printing. We might learn how to do screen printing for making swag for the company, maybe postcards or t-shirts or bags or something. Yeah, let me take you into the other room. So before we look around the rest of the shop, I'll show you some instruments, parts in progress here. These are some walnut banjo uke rim segments. So the rims are made up of, layering up 3 or 4 layers of these little segments. So I'm laying out here 2 walnut banjo ukes and some pistachio rings for the top. And I've been having some fun kind of layering them in different grain orientations, different colors, try to get some cool looks. Once they're turned on the lathe, they look like this. This is 3 layers of maple and 1 of pistachio. Maple looks a little dark right now because of the tooling on the lathe, but it'll be lighter obviously later. These 2 matching maple rims are for 2 5-string instruments due in July. And here's the 2 matching necks, both curly maple necks. They're roughly milled right now. They're coming up soon. This is a little matched pair for Louise and Stephanie. Here's another rim part way along its process. Here we're gluing up these layers with some clamps. So this one is maple and pistachio. I'll show you a little bit more closely what these all look like. There's some more segments getting started gluing up, and there's some cut ready for their turn. And then the biggest changes in this room is that I brought my bracing homework here from Miyamoe. So instead of doing all the bracing and carving up at the shop, I'll do it down here from now on. These are what are called go-bar decks. They're 2 boards separated by space, and then little kite rods in between to put downward pressure on the braces so that they are evenly clamped to the top and back. So I have about 6 instruments to do every week for Miyamoe. Over here is where I've been sitting and carving the braces, so I gotta do that tonight. And a big change over here too is I have to admit defeat on something. You remember how proud I was of my beautiful big fir workbench? Well, it imploded. I have to admit that I used wood that was wetter than I thought it was. So once the wood dried out, a bunch of the joints popped, and it basically imploded. And I had to admit that I did it wrong. And basically, I almost burned it, but I chose not to. So the bench that's behind me right now is a second try. It's made of mahogany that was salvaged from a theater in Portland. I got a whole pickup truck full of it. This is the stuff that's not good enough to be instruments. There's flaws all over it, so I turned it into a bench. And while I was at it, I added a few features. In the back there, I added a big long tool tray and then a gap where you can put tools down in it, like that stuff. And that functionality has been great. I got the vise that I inherited from Gordon set up properly. And I made a little end vise from the same mahogany. So it's a smaller, lighter weight, kind of more elegant looking bench. My first bench, I think it was just too massive for me to do properly. So, but it's not a complete loss. I took the bottom of it, this is the bottom of it, and I lag bolted it all together where all the joints failed, and then I added a solid core door to the top, and now that's the bracing bench. And you can see the top of shame that basically imploded on me over there against the wall. That actually might get burned. We'll see. Yeah, and then so for machines in the shop, a couple of small things have changed. The first is that my friend Dan found me this little 1970s Rockwell Delta combo sander. I needed it basically for the disc. It runs great. It was really cheap. It needs new bearings on the belt side of it. Although it runs true, it's quite loud. But the dust collection works really good on it, and it's a I think 1 1/4 horsepower. It's pretty powerful. 220, wired 220. So that's been great. And then I stumbled across a couple of old bandsaws. One of which, this is the real long-term project. This is probably 100 years old. This is a 20-inch silver bandsaw that manufactured by a company called Silver. And I haven't even really started on this one except for just making an inventory of what needs to be fixed, replaced, repaired, etc. The biggest thing will be new modern bearings for the bottom wheel instead of Babbitt bearings. But I should be able to get this set up in the next few months. Got a nice 1 horsepower, more modern motor for it. Got all my bits and pieces ready to go. So this one, I hope to get this set up with a big blade on it and just use it for rough work and resawing. In the meantime, thrown in the deal from my friend was this little tiny 14-inch C-frame bandsaw, which I didn't really have a need for, but I can't help but put it all back together. So got a little 1/2 horsepower motor, built a stand for it, got it all set up, trued up, and have a very small kind of scroll work kind of blade on it right now. Made some little guards to guard the blade from your hands from oak, and that's a nice little machine. Although I don't need it because, you know, obviously the Delta's working great. So no, I don't need 3 bandsaws, but I'll get all 3 fixed up and then I'll get rid of one. I'm looking forward to that. Also, wood update. Went to an estate sale, found a bunch of straight grain, beautiful maple already milled to this size and shape. It's enough for about 90 banjo ukes. So now it is stashed all over the shop everywhere. And it's nice, beautiful, straight grain, clear maple. Henry likes to set the pieces on the floor in the shop and make a dance floor, so I might call it Henry's Dance Floor Maple. Also, got a big delivery of pistachio slabs from my guy in California. There's pistachio now everywhere in the shop, all over the place. Some beautiful stuff. I went out to Xena Forest Products in Salem. Got a whole bunch of beautiful curly maple. This stuff is gorgeous, and it was a nice cheap price, sustainably milled and sourced in Salem. So that's all maple down there. Lovely stuff. And from that first original estate sale I was telling you about, I had a whole bunch of oak that I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to set it aside, and you never know. So, yeah. That's it for the end of May shop update. Thanks for following along, and send me an email if you have any questions. Thanks.